Welcome to a surprise episode of By Design Advisors, where we believe business should be run by design and not left to chance. We have a special guest today, Miss Lauren O'Connell, marketing manager from the Dallas Mavericks. So she was coming in to do some work with us today, and we were like, you're going on camera. We're going to talk to you about all things Mavericks related today with the NBA Finals just finishing up. So Lauren, welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Also have my partner Marty on the mic with me, big sports fan, and we're going to kind of get into this. So, Lauren, I guess the biggest question on everyone's mind is tell us about the Mavericks, just overall as an organization, what you did, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, it was a great experience. I was on the marketing team. We had about 10 to 15 people on my direct team, and I mean, we strategized every event, every game, everything that you could imagine. And then my specific team did the digital aspects. So email, web, app, social, all of that. We ran it, we planned it. And even every single game, we would have game day things. So if it was some hot team coming and we would really have that matchup and highlight those types of things, and then we would have post games after wins, really get the fans hyped up and involved and engaged in that type of digital aspect. And then with our different campaigns of events, those would highlight the different things we're doing with our community. So we always had the women's symposium and our Mavs ball and different fundraising events, and those were always very detail oriented into the strategy and marketing and all of that. So we got to work on that too.
So they didn't leave it to chance. It doesn't sound like.
No, we
How detailed was the game day plan? Was it at this timeout we're doing this, at this time of the game we're doing this, or was it more free-flowing than that?
We did a lot of the pre-game, post-game type things, and so it wasn't always at this time we need to send the pre-game email, and at this time, because it always depends on the players. You don't get the injury report till, I don't know, you can get it 3 hours in advance, you can get it 5 minutes in advance. It depends. And so that was one big thing. We would always have to wait and see what was going on with starting five and all of that. And then during the game, they had during this timeout, we were going to do this activation. During this timeout, we're having this sponsor flash on the screen. It was very detailed out, and usually the day or two before each game, we would have one big meeting with almost the entire organization of the run through of that game.
Nice.
So,
and you mentioned the organization. Let's go up a level. Kind of what was the culture of the Mavs as far as the whole organization, just not your team?
Yeah, it was positive. I mean, everybody was a part of the Mavs team. Even you're not a player, you're not a coach, but you are on the Mavs. And I feel that was one of the best aspects of being there, just because you're this is my team. I'm maybe not helping them win a championship in the same way as others, but they still look at you like that. And even when you interact with some of the players, they're oh, you're part of the Mavs as well. And so that was always good. And having leaders like Mark Cuban and Cynt Marshall, so engaging and positive and wanting everybody to learn. And so I definitely think the growth in that type of opportunity was phenomenal.
I'm kind of curious, how big an organization was it? Because I think sometimes we don't think about it. We just think of the team and a game, but we don't think about what's behind it. How big a team, or you said you were part of a 15-person sort of marketing email, but how big was the overall organization?
We had about 200, 250 people.
Okay.
So it was pretty big, pretty busy in the office, especially on game days. You have the extra content, producers there, the extra TV, everybody is going in on game days. So good amount of people.
You mentioned Mark Cuban. I've always wanted to have a beer with that guy. I don't know why. I don't know him. I don't know. He just seems like a brilliant, interesting, quirky, maybe kind of dude. Did you ever get to meet him, be in meetings with him? If so, can you tell maybe how he kind of runs things over there, or what's he like?
Yeah, he definitely was like would oversee a lot of things and run it through the CEO Cynt. And so she was in a majority of our like all hands meetings and things like that, kind of talking and doing things on his behalf. But he was at every game, and that was one thing that like always entertained me at a game was watching Mark on the side. He was invested, like he was standing up and like doing his thing, and my seats were like really close diagonal from behind him, and I would always watch him. I would be like, look what Mark's doing now. Like it was just too funny, like seeing how he interacts with like the guys and stuff.
And how's that? Because
I was going to say, he was always like watching him when he first got him, like a kid owning a team.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a business.
Yeah.
It was almost like
passion.
a kid passion.
I feel like that's how it's still like to this day.
Yeah.
He is like the team, the guys.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about, we believe culture comes from the top. So as you started as an intern and very, very young and maybe inexperienced, and seeing how invested he was, how did that impact maybe how invested you were?
Yeah, it definitely trickled all the way down. Like seeing how invested he was, and then how invested Cynt was in like the culture and the diversity and everything that she did. Like it led to my manager, who like was a fabulous manager, like was so invested in the team learning and growing and everything. And so I feel like then that like kind of gets everybody else on board of, okay, let's do this. It's honestly like the culture is more of a team aspect, not only because it's a sports team, but like because we're working together trying to make everybody get like to that next level of wherever they want to go.
Because there's kind of this weird kind of sometimes feeling when you get to the professional, like there's this sense of arrogance and entitlement, and you could easily see an organization just be a bunch of individuals. And it's, you've used the word investment, excitement. Like these are really, business principles that can be used anywhere that wasn't left to chance. So it's kind of cool to hear you talk about that.
Yeah. It definitely wasn't just like you go in and you do your thing and you leave and whatever, like type of day. Like it was, everybody had a part in what the game or what the event was going to be. And you knew like I'm making a difference in whether it was, actual basketball or foundation, like things like that. So
Yeah.
Who was your favorite player?
Oh, that's really, really tough. Like I could,
Because they're probably all going to listen to this.
Yeah. You're on the spot now.
I guess I have to say Derek Lively II.
Okay.
He just seems like a cool guy. I also love PJ Washington. There's so many, but
You like the really tall guys. Those are both really tall, right?
they're all really tall.
That's true. Solid point.
I
Solid
mean-
point. That's a solid point. There's no 6-footers out there. Going back to Mark Cuban, obviously I'm a little set. I think you have a funny story about seeing him or meeting him, but maybe not meeting him in your normal role.
Yes. So basically, I went to a game in OKC. It was the second round of playoffs last year, and my friends and I were walking after the game. We won in like a really close, good, like it was one of the most entertaining games I've ever been to. And we're walking along the downtown, like OKC. It's dirt. There wasn't even a sidewalk. It was just along the street. And we see this guy walking towards us, like from the opposite direction. And we're like, is that Mark? He was alone. We didn't think he would be alone. So we were like, maybe it's not. We get closer and it's Mark. And we're like, hey, can we like take a picture? Like, we kind of know who you are, like without being,
Can you sign our paychecks?
Yeah, no. And so, I mean, it was kind of cool to see him like in that aspect of just like he does his own thing. He's not seeing himself as like I'm this
special guy in a limousine
Yeah.
and my entourage and all that. Yeah.
Like he was just walking on the streets of OKC. Like it was cool, but that was one of the funniest like memories I have of running into him there.
Yeah. And shout out Bricktown, OKC, very underrated town.
It is.
And I can see where I've walked alone on the streets of Bricktown before, probably for a completely different reason.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're not going to ask that, go into that question.
But it's a great town. Awesome. So what did you maybe take away as you're now graduated, doing your MBA at Clemson and getting ready to do your own thing? Maybe what are some lessons you're taking from the Mavs in general, culture, that and going forward?
Yeah, I would say one of the biggest things is just how you treat the people that you work with. If you are working with them like they are really like your partners in this, and like you want them to do the best they can and they want you to do the best, then I mean, you see so much growth and so much like success versus I just feel like so many places now are you go in, you have to do your job, you know, like it ends up being successful, but it's not in the most positive like way that it could possibly be. So definitely that, and like how to lead. I think that my manager really showed me like the best ways of how to lead. And so like getting my MBA, I want to be able to put that into like my next role.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, it was funny, our last previous talking to John Sterling, one of the things he talked about, his hidden secret was kindness. Like, we think that to be kind is to not care, or to be kind means I'm going to get taken advantage of, when in actuality, kindness is a strength. And I'm always impressed when you talk about that, because you would think a lot of organizations, they build this culture almost based on competition and I got to beat you down to get my next role. And to hear you not say it again, I just keep saying that's really refreshing, because that is what success is about.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we're excited to have you on our team. And last question, did you vote yes or no for the Luka trade? Because I'm sure he took an organization-wide poll.
I didn't have a single say. I found out at midnight on Saturday, just like the entire rest of the world.
Oh, nice. Well, good.
And then you had to do that email campaign to like spin it, right?
And then we had to change a lot of stuff around because he was a big marketing asset. So
yeah, quick pivot there.
yes.
Well, we'll see how it turns out, because tonight's the draft, and they luckily how that happened pulled number one. So
random
spin of the dice, but we'll see what they do and where they go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Lauren, thank you for joining.
Yep.
Thank you.